Good afternoon, good evening, good wherever you're watching POD Nation. Welcome to the main stage of Print on Demand, the Clicks to Riches show, the only show where t-shirts become Toyotas, mugs turn into mortgages, and side hustles grow into empires. I'm Martin, your guide through today's POD adventure. And as always, joining me is the brilliance, the balance, and let's be real, the better looking half of this duo, Leah.
All right, Martin, you're absolutely laying it on thick today. Hey, everyone.
All right, buckle up, folks, because today we're going big, diving headfirst into the Amazon universe. We're breaking down the entire roadmap to POD success on the biggest stage in e-commerce. And the best part, we've got Amazon's own Addie Wilson in the house to spill the secrets, share the strategies, and give you the edge you need. And if you've ever dreamed about scaling your POD hustle into an Amazon powerhouse, today is your day.
On top of that, we've got it all covered. The latest news shaking up the world of POD, the market trends you can't afford to miss, the products sellers are cashing in on right now, and of course, the latest updates from your friends at Printify. And let's not forget about the prizes. We've got prizes stacked higher than an Amazon warehouse shelf, and it's all happening right here today, so buckle in.
All right, Leah, let's get the people hyped. I want to do a quick lightning round, so answer me with a simple yes or no. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. So is Amazon the biggest e-commerce marketplace in the US?
Yes.
Okay, so are POD sellers making real money every single day selling on Amazon?
Yes.
Okay, is Printify consistently rolling out new updates and features?
Yes.
And are today's prizes so good, even we're a little jealous we can't win them?
Yeah.
All right, and final question, can you really go from clicks to riches without, the clicks?
No.
Well, couldn't have said it better myself, Leah. All right, folks, let's get into it. The Clicks to Riches show starts right now. All right, folks, well, the ball is rolling. We're talking about one of my most favorite subjects today, Amazon. It's going to be an absolute wonderful, wonderful show. We're going to be giving away prizes, having a great time. We see a lot of you are already checking in. Leah, how's that chat looking?
So active as always. We got to give a couple shout outs. We have Pup Style Haven Linda saying hello from Iowa City. Hello, Kristen Dragos from Arizona. Now, I remember your name from last time. I believe you won the coupon code 2 times, maybe 3 times. So we're going to watch out again for you. We have Edward Navar from Arizona as well. Arizona's clocking in today. Dom from Pennsylvania here. So we got a lot of new people here as well. Wonderful.
Shout out to everybody. And speaking of that chat, we're going to be covering all sorts of topics, dropping links and things like that. We're going to pop those into the chat as well. You can find those in the video description if you're watching on replay. So you're not going to miss a thing, folks. Plus, we're going to be asking you to pop your questions into the chat for our dedicated live Q&A portion a little bit later with our guest, Addie Wilson from Amazon. So as we cover our topics, as we're having our conversation, when those questions pop into your head, go ahead and drop those into the chat. Our moderator, Talish, will collect those and we'll address those during the Q&A portion. So you don't have to save them to the end and like everybody put them all in at once. And folks, we mentioned prizes, so I don't know, Leah, should we give away our first coupon code today?
I think we got to start right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those of you that aren't familiar, folks, we're gonna halt things at three points in today's episode and give out a coupon code that you enter into your Printify account where 3 of you who type it in the fastest will win $15 of Printify sales credit instantly put right into your account. So what I'm going to ask you to do is pull out your Printify accounts and navigate on the left-hand side where it says Wallet and go to the Reward Center and find the coupon code entry box and prepare to enter today's first coupon code. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for Q4? Spelled just like this, folks. Hey, and if you do win, you're not gonna see any bells or whistles. It's just gonna instantly appear in your account. Or if you're a little bit slow with your typing today, you're gonna see a notice that says this coupon doesn't exist because we only made 3 of them. But no worries, we're gonna give you 2 more chances to win here in a little bit. And speaking of winning, if you wanna stick around until the end, and I highly recommend you do, we're gonna pop in another link into our chat for our post-show survey for our grand prize, where 3 of you will be selected at random to receive a Clicks to Riches t-shirt and $50 of Printify sales credit placed directly into your account. So stick around to the end for that. But folks, we
already have a winner.
Oh, we already have a winner.
Get a shout out right now.
Wonderful. Let's hear it.
Bailey L said they won. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Bailey. Well, that's you're $15 richer, but guess what? If you win another 2 times, that's a total of $45 you could walk away in your Printify account. Not bad. Not bad for watching the Click to
There's
Riches
still
show.
2 more winners out there. We're waiting to see your name in the chat.
Exactly. Well, let us know so we can all celebrate. But let's go ahead and check out the latest in headlines in the world of print on demand. And this first one comes to us from our friends over at Etsy. Now, they've made some recent changes to their payment policy. This is going into effect on October 2nd. We're going to pop in a link in the chat. Check it out. But this is basically to streamline the process, giving customers more payment options and things like that, and streamlining the payout services and things like that. And ultimately, I think this is a good thing because anything that increases consumer confidence is going to result in better conversions. So overall, I think this is good.
I think if you're one of those people too that's kind of resistant of change a little bit, you really need to step into your buyer's shoes from their point of view. Because think about when you go to buy something and you go to a website, if it seems a little bit off or it's a payment method that you've never seen before, you're probably not going to want to buy that product. So step into your customer's shoes in this case and kind of see where they're coming from to build that trust.
Sure, but I'm interested, what do you folks think about this? Any of you Etsy sellers out there, are you affected by this? Do you have thoughts, yay or nay? Let us know in the chat so we can all understand where the audience thoughts are on this matter. Okay, this next one, now this one I'm going to have to ask you to stay with us because last week in August of 29th, the U.S. government suspended the duty-free de minimis threshold. Now this basically results in all imported goods being subject to import duties. So what we're doing to combat this is we're switching to DDP, which stands for delivered duty paid. And what that basically means is now the foreign postal carriers will be responsible for collecting and remitting these taxes before the products are shipped to the United States. Now, this change is out of our control, and this will likely significantly impact shipping to the US. But before we get any deeper into this, let me just say, folks, your prices aren't going up, your customers' prices aren't going up, and I think that's important to get across before we dive a little bit deeper into this. So with that said, I mean, there's a few changes you need to be aware of.
Right, and so if you are selling to U.S. customers using print providers based outside of the U.S., you may see some restrictions, and if these carriers can't adapt, they're not going to be able to ship to the U.S. So if you do get an order to a U.S. delivery address from one of these providers, then it's automatically going to be flagged and it's going to be put on an on-hold status. Now, you can cancel these orders, but if you don't, it's simply going to stay on hold until these restrictions are lifted, okay? So when you're selling to the U.S. customers, what can you do? Use U.S. print providers. This is going to be your best option, okay? If you're already using these providers that are not based in the U.S., then you can either look into switching providers, finding a different supplier, or you may have to temporarily pause these listings that are targeting U.S. buyers.
Exactly. And we're going to pop a list of print providers on the screen that are offering DDP and still shipping to the US. You can pause your screen or revisit this at your leisure. And then I want to move on and just show you a few of the affected print providers that are temporarily restricted from US shipping. We've got a few here. You can see the European options there. And on this next slide, you can see a little bit more from Europe and our Australian partners there. But again, folks, I can't stress enough that your prices are not going up, your customers' prices aren't going up, but this is just something you need to be aware of and keep an eye on this as it develops. This could develop on a day-by-day and hour-to-hour basis, but if you have any questions, please reach out to our support, okay? All right. Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, check out the Printify Product Spotlight. Now, if you're new to the show, what we do here with this product spotlight is I eliminate the tried and true top sellers like, t-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies and things like that. And I look for the outliers that are climbing the charts, and that's what we have assembled for you here. And number one with a bullet, the Garden and House banner. For whatever reason, folks are decorating their homes and their gardens with these banners. They are selling like hotcakes along with the woven blanket. And another thing I really want to point out here is the accent mug. Now, we featured the accent mug several times in the Printify product spotlight, but right now it's really competing for the top spot. I mean, For the longest time, the 11-ounce white and black mugs were always at the top of the charts. But now we're seeing a huge demand increase for the accent mug. And this just shows that people want a little bit something different from their mug with a little bit of color, a little bit of flair. So this is definitely something you need to keep in mind if you're thinking about selling mugs or you're already selling mugs. Moving right along, here's what you need to keep an eye on in terms of what's selling in the upcoming sales opportunities. First of all, September 29th is National Coffee Day, and I know a lot of you folks out there like to include coffee as a part of your sales strategy, whether it's involved in sub-niching, like if selling to corgi owners, but also corgi owners that love coffee. Here's a great opportunity to take advantage of National Coffee Day to offer something to your customers, or at the very least, as an excuse to reach out. Okay, and of course, World Teachers Day on October 5th, but everybody's talking about the upcoming holiday season. Halloween will be the first major event of Q4. Folks, it's going to be here before you know it. We're going to touch on it a few times in today's episode. But yeah, if you're not preparing for the holiday season, do yourself a favor, get that machine rolling.
I also want to offer a little bit different of a perspective. I know we say Halloween, Christmas, all these holidays are super important. They're huge sales opportunities, but also don't feel like that you have to force these holidays into your niche or into your products if it really just doesn't make sense for you, right? There are great opportunities, but you don't have to use them. People are still looking for their very niche specific items, or if you're targeting a certain audience, they're going to buy your products regardless. Now, you can still capitalize this on a little bit in your social media or your email newsletter, wherever. You can still kind of hop on that Halloween or Christmas trend, but don't force it on your products or your customers if they don't want it.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with the little spooky products. I'm a big fan of Halloween, like a big fan. We decorate the house and everything, so looking forward to it. But all right, you can find out all these dates, and including further dates in our 2025 marketing calendar. We'll pop the link into the chat. You can also find it in the description. Moving right along, let's check in with our friends over at eRank and what is currently trending on Etsy. So what I've done here is just taken out the latest trending keywords that are most applicable to you as print-on-demand sellers, and that's what you have here. And no surprise, Halloween right at the top of the charts. Halloween and Halloween shirt trending right now. Wall art also a perennial favorite on the trend market on Etsy. And making its first appearance is fall. Of course, people are thinking about the fall, although we're still enjoying some warm weather, but people's minds are on fall. So keep in mind those fall colors if you're designing new products. Moving right along, what are your thoughts? We've covered a lot of things today. Do any of the products that are trending, or any of the news stories that we've covered, are they applicable to you? Do you have feelings? Do you have thoughts? Let us know in the chat. Did we miss anything, folks? Let us know so we can enjoy that as a community here on the Clicks to Riches show. And what a wonderful opportunity for me to invite you to join me for my live Q&A sessions that I do on Mondays and Wednesdays on the Sellers Club. 100% free. I will not accept any payment. You can join me on Mondays and Wednesdays, and let's talk about the things that are most important to you. Let me be a small part of your success. Join the Sellers Club using code JOINSELLERS2025 and get your first month free. But of course, you can always join my live Q&As whether you're a paid member or not. So what's new at Printify, ladies and gentlemen? I'm glad you asked, because it's all about Amplified, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't heard, it's the absolute biggest POD event in the entire POD universe, and it's happening on September 25th. And Leah, is it free or do they have to pay?
It is absolutely 100% free.
Exactly. And what can they expect from Amplified this year?
Everything. You are going to learn everything from all the top POD influencers. We've got people like Cassie Johnson, Michaela Peluso, George McConnell. They're going to share their stories, their insights with you. It's a really great place to learn. We're going to provide you with all sorts of resources, Q&A sessions with our guests. Everything. It's
going to be wonderful. And this year, it's all happening on the Sellers Club. Let's harken back to what I was saying earlier about the Sellers Club. It's taken over the Sellers Club. It's already taken over the Sellers Club. If you haven't seen it already, it's all Amplified related. That's where you can find the best experience. Keep up on the latest news from Amplified. Sellers Club is going to be your place for that. And ladies and gentlemen, We have a new app for your Android or Apple phone for the Sellers Club. You can download right now. Use the QR code on your screen. Take the Sellers Club in your pocket wherever you go. There's no excuse not to be part of the community. All right, well, let's go ahead and give away another coupon code because, folks, I love giving away other people's money. So what I'm going to ask you to do once more, ladies and gentlemen, is take out your Printify account, click on Wallet on the left-hand side, go down to Reward Center, find the coupon code entry box, and prepare to enter today's second coupon code. But don't worry, we're going to have one more, folks. But give yourself a shout out in the chat if you do win so we can all celebrate. So, our second coupon code, where 3 of you will win $15 of Printify sales credit instantly, is Amazon 1, Amazon 2, Amazon 3. We can't make it too easy for you folks. Hope you were paying attention in typing class. But again, if you do win, you'll get that credit instantly, or otherwise you'll see a notice that says this coupon code doesn't exist, and that just means you have one more opportunity to win a little bit later.
Your coupon codes are getting progressively crazier. It's like trying to figure out a new password. You need a symbol, capitalized letter.
Exactly. Well, what I'm worried about is people like going into their Printify accounts and like knowing what the theme of the show is and just like trying to guess the coupon codes. So I got to make it a little bit tricky for you folks. But let us know if you do win. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Amazon is the theme of the day, and I just want to throw a few statistics at you first before we dive deeper into our conversation. Now, what you can see on your screen are some pretty big numbers. I mean, 1.75 billion US in daily sales. That's every single day. And look, 638 billion in global sales last year. And almost 500 million of that just being in the United States. Hands down the biggest e-commerce option in the US, making up almost 40% of the entire e-commerce volume of the United States, the biggest economy on the planet. And third-party sellers like you dominate. 62% of units sold come from third-party sellers just like you. And folks, before we get into today's discussion, I just want to remind you that we have done an entire episode of the Clicks to Riches show on Amazon. You can we're going to pop that link in as well so you can explore. But what we've done in that episode is sort of lay the foundation. And today's episode, we're going to take that conversation just a little bit further. So in order to do that, I'm going to throw it over to my partner, Leah. So Leah, what do you have for us in terms of Amazon's success?
Yes, so just by looking at the numbers, you know that you have to start exploring Amazon a little bit. I'm going to give you kind of some general tips, overview, and then our guest, Addie, is going to really dive in a lot deeper. So how can you start successfully on Amazon? Well, first of all, you have to be compliant with their rules, and you have to keep your account healthy. What does that mean? Have a low late shipment rate, have a low order defect rate. Now, this kind of seems like common sense, right? You want to do that no matter where your buyers are, but Amazon's really going to be looking at that. And so Printify Choice is a great option here. We're going to route your orders. There we go. That's a tongue twister. We're going to route your orders to the closest print provider to your customers. They're going to get the cheapest shipping, the fastest shipping, and the best quality, okay? So we know that Amazon lives by fast shipping and valid tracking. You've probably all bought something from Amazon. You expect it just as fast as your customers will expect their items, okay? It's also extremely important to follow all of Amazon's rules, look at their restricted products, and of course, remain compliant with their IP policies. And never try to hack the system, so to speak, okay? Don't try to have fake reviews, black hat keywords. That means don't try to keyword stuff, add in irrelevant phrases or unnatural phrases. It's just really going to be kind of off-putting for your customers and provide a poor user experience. Next up, you want to be obsessed, absolutely obsessed with your customers, okay? Successful Amazon sellers, they're not just focusing on short-term profit, but they're building long-term relationships with their buyers first. So how can you do that? Well, of course, offer faster shipping. We know Printify Choice is a great option for this. Prioritize quality products, quality designs, and consistently, okay? If you get bad reviews, they're gonna start slowly killing your listings, okay? And respond to your customer messages. Within 24 hours is preferable, and you can set up automated messages as well. And of course, you're gonna get refunds and returns. It's inevitable the more you start selling. It's all part of being a business owner, but treat it as an opportunity to build trust with your customers, okay? Don't fight your customers, offer them a refund if it's gonna save your sanity, but also be sure to resolve it, respond to it so that other buyers who are reading the reviews can know that you did what you can, you responded, you did try to resolve it, okay? Next up, listing optimization. This is extremely important because your product page on Amazon, it's your storefront, right? It's not like Etsy where a shopper can click on your store and go into your entire shop, okay? Amazon doesn't really have that for individual sellers yet, so your product page is your storefront, meaning that you have to optimize your keywords. You can use Amazon's tools to find good keywords, to analyze your competitors. You want clear titles that are keyword rich, but don't look too spammy. And of course, you want high quality mock-up photos, lifestyle images, maybe multiple angles. Your POD mock-ups need to look absolutely real. And of course, you need to think about pricing and profitability. Now, Amazon is going to be ruthless on price. If you are overpriced without justification, you're simply not going to rank, okay? But of course, you don't want to undervalue yourself either. So price competitively, but do bake in your margin. I think Addie's gonna give us some more tips about pricing in a little bit. Reviews, social proof, we know that is extremely important. So these are gonna help build your ranking. Encourage your buyers to post a review after they've bought your product, okay? Never buy your reviews. Don't try to post fake reviews through a fake account. Amazon's bots are probably a lot smarter than you are, so don't even think about it. And of course, handle any bad reviews publicly and gracefully. Again, this is going to show future buyers that you're responsive, you can be trustworthy, and that you do try to solve any situation. And last but not least, there are tons of resources and ways to learn and grow. First off, there's Amazon Seller University, then you have the Amazon Ads Academy, and the Service Provider Network. Now, we're gonna provide all the links for you in the description below this video, so you can either sign up or you can just explore more. And if you're already selling on Etsy, you definitely have the skills to scale even bigger on Amazon. And we have a special link just for you also in the description below.
All right. Well, I think we have made our guest wait long enough. I'm excited to bring him out. So why don't we just go ahead and do that? Addie Wilson from Amazon, thank you so much for joining us today. How you doing today, bud?
Doing great. Thank you for having me on, Martin.
Wonderful. All right. So Addie is the program manager, is a program manager over at Amazon. So why don't you tell us exactly what that is and what the heck it is you do over there?
Yeah, so I'm a program manager at Amazon Seller External Relations, and what we do is we travel around and educate small businesses about all the great programs and products that we have available to help your business thrive online.
Okay, well, before we get into our discussion, let's break the ice a little bit. I've selected a trivia question I want to ask you, and you folks watching at home can play along as well. Let us know the answer in the chat. So, Addie, are you ready for today's icebreaker trivia question?
Hit me with it, Martin.
Okay, all right. So, Amazon sells everything under the sun, and I was just checking before we went live. You guys sell diapers and coffins, so like literally everything from cradle to grave. So, seeing as though you sell everything, but what was the first product ever sold on Amazon? Okay, I'm gonna read these off. Was it A, a computer mouse? Was it B, a CD copy of Michael Jackson's Thriller? Was it C, a science book about fluid mechanics, excuse me, or D, a toaster? Now, before you answer, I'm going to read it one more time, let our audience at home answer. So put your answers into the chat. Was it A, a computer mouse, B, a CD copy of Michael Jackson's Thriller, C, a science book about fluid mechanics, or D, a toaster? So Addie, what say you?
That's a tricky one. So I don't know whether or not we would have had a license to sell Michael Jackson's Thriller. Great album as it is. Toasters are pretty, and mice, well, you know, that's something where anyone could pick up at their local micro center. So maybe I'll say the textbook.
So your answer is C, a science book about fluid mechanics. Well, congratulations, Addie, and those of you that answered C at home, that is the correct answer. Of course, we all know Amazon started as a bookseller, but now they sell pretty much everything under the sun. Congratulations, you are a winner, and everyone who else at home who answered correctly, you can give yourself a pat on the back. All right, well, let's get into it, Addie, because I've got a ton of questions for you. Our audience is interested to know the inside scoop. So let's start with pricing strategy. So first off, how do sellers find out what to charge for their POD products without losing money or like scaring people off? Let's start there.
Yeah, well, that's a really great question because pricing is a topic that a lot of folks wrestle with, especially starting out. And basically, before you set sail with your first product, you need to know which way the wind is blowing. And that means research, lots and lots of market research. Now, in the old days, you'd have to open up a million different browser tabs and look at the details of all the different products of your competitor. But now we have a tool called Product Opportunity Explorer, which is basically a dashboard that allows you to track the performance of product niches so you could identify who the movers and shakers are in this category and stay ahead of the curve by finding the ones that have increasing customer searches. So, you know, if you're trying to see when Labubus are on the way out and hat pins are on the way in because punk's not dead, this is how you see that trend coming. And we refresh this data weekly so you can stay on top of identifying where that unmet customer demand is and finding opportunities for new products and how to price them too. Speaking of trends, for you print-on-demand folks out there, I would definitely check out the trends section within that dashboard because it allows you to make customizable graphs so you could analyze product historical average price as well as seasonality so you could avoid those kind of seasonal dips over time. Or if you're looking to sell something that is seasonal. But my favorite thing about Product Opportunity Explorer, which you can see here on the slide, is that it provides best practices and expert tips to help you get the most out of your research and know what to do with all that data.
Ooh, we love best practices and expert tips. And that's why we have you today. But let's talk about testing a little bit when it comes to pricing. So do sellers ever like test out different prices, you know, to find that sweet spot where they're not leaving too much on the table? Like, take us through that process.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, markets are not static things, and a lot of factors can impact how you and your competitors price your items. So sellers should be constantly looking at different signals like seasonality, like what the competitor's doing, and other data to try and dial in what that sweet spot is. Now, to make it even easier, we have a tool called automatic pricing that lets you kind of automate changing your price in response to these signals. So maybe you want to make sure that your product is listed as cheaper than your primary competitor, but above your break-even price. You can set that range inside of automated pricing, and Amazon will take it from there. It's kind of like autopilot, but for your prices.
So the Product Opportunity Explorer and this pricing tool that you just mentioned, like this is available to all sellers, right? Or do they have to do something special to get access?
All you need is a seller account to be able to use it.
Good answer. All right. Well, let's go ahead and switch gears a little bit because I want to talk a little bit about ads. It's one of the things that comes up all the time, whether I'm talking, regardless of the platform that I'm talking about. Let's talk specifically about ads on Amazon's. Like most people can feel overwhelmed because, well, maybe they don't have a lot of experience with ads or they just don't want to waste their money. So how do you spend smarter rather than, you know, letting your ad budget go to waste? How does that work?
Yeah, so ads are a really important part about getting your product seen. And it's something that sellers should be thinking about at every stage of your business. So if you haven't started thinking about ads, today's the time to start. But you should also keep an open mind about all the different ways that you can use to advertise your product. You know, gone are the days where you had to go and take out an ad in your newspaper or climb the town water tower with a bucket of paint. I was thinking about a seller that I met just last month called Vital Pet Life out in Seattle. Husband and wife duo couldn't figure out what was going on with their dog, why it was so sick, until they discovered it had an omega-3 vitamin deficiency. So they went and got a $50,000 credit card and launched a business with Amazon back in, I'd say, 2013, I want to say. And now they're well into the millions of revenue. Now, they still spend a good chunk of that on advertising, but it's when the wife started a podcast with their vet on pet nutrition that they ended up unlocking a whole new segment of customers. Think about, dog boarding, think about breeders, veterinary clinics. Now, their best-selling product isn't little tiny pills that you give to your little dog, but whole half-gallon jugs of fish oil, by far and away. Who'd have thunk it? But, if you're not ready to start a podcast just yet, but you are ready to begin advertising in Amazon store, there are two different types mainly of sponsored ads. First, you have sponsored products, which are cost per click ads that promote individual products. And then you have sponsored brands, which are cost per click ads that promote discovery and consideration of a brand, up to 3 of the same products through custom headlines, videos, images, that kind of thing. And all you need to do to start it up is first think about what your targeting type is. And you can see how this looks like here on the slide. So what you want to do is choose first between automated targeting and manual targeting. Automated targeting will basically target products and keywords that are similar to the product in your ads, while manual targeting lets you choose keywords or products and set custom bids. Now, for new sellers, we definitely recommend selecting automated targeting if it's your first campaign or you're still getting used to how ads work. And when you use automated targeting, we apply multiple default strategies to match your ad to the customer that is looking for your product. Now, after you choose a targeting type, you need to think about what your bidding strategy is. There's basically 3 different bidding strategies. You have fixed bids, where Amazon won't change the amount at all. You have dynamic down only, where Amazon will decrease your bid by a maximum of 100% when it's less likely to lead to a sale. But we recommend for your first campaign doing dynamic bids up and down, where we'll go down if it's less likely to lead to a sale, or we'll go up to a max of 100% when we think it will lead to a sale.
Okay.
And then
go ahead.
If you do choose to go with, doing manual bid adjustments, you can go in and change the percentage across, rest of search, product pages, top of search when, you type something into the search bar. This lets you optimize your ad spend or improve visibility or target specific audiences at different points in their journey. And so the last thing that you want to worry about when starting your first campaign is naming it. We recommend keeping it simple and including the date, just so that you could keep track of it if you're running multiple campaigns, and then setting a date range for it. Now, the pro tip here is don't set an end date. Just pause it if you want to stop the campaign, because once that end date comes, you won't have access to a lot of that customer data that you see as part of that campaign. And then lastly, just setting a daily budget. The minimum is $10, but of course it could go way higher than that. And at the when the amount runs out, then the campaign stops for the day.
Yeah, thanks, Addy. Leah, I think we just saw like a Amazon ad masterclass in like 3.5 minutes.
It was really good.
Yeah, really good. And yeah, Addy, thanks again for giving me one more thing to worry about with my dog. Now I got to monitor their vitamin levels. So thanks for that. But let's shift gears a little bit, because people want to know how to get their listing noticed like organically, if they're not ready to pull the trigger on ads or things like that. But like, how do you make sure that people actually find a listing organically on Amazon?
Yeah, so there are 2 types of ads, right? There's earned and then there's paid. Now, if your customer sets out to buy your product and clicks on one of your paid ads, great. But when it comes to organic discovery, and especially for you print-on-demand folks out there, you're selling a highly visible product that can spark someone's interest just by looking at it, right? So you want to be really intentional about how you go about building your brand and doing it in a way that helps you out with that organic discovery, especially at the early stages, and starting with your name. Because if you invest in developing a meaningful and memorable brand, you're much more likely to build a fan base or a customer base of loyal folks and repeat purchases. So, does anyone remember the new Coke, right? Am I the only person old enough to remember that? You want to be really intentional about what your brand name is, because you could avoid costly corrections later on. And in Amazon store, if you have a really strong brand, it's more likely that folks are going to try and type in that brand name specifically, and that'll help you avoid a lot of that costly ad bidding and your reliance on paid ads. Like, if you think about it, some of the best brands in the world end up becoming synonymous with the product itself, like Kleenex or super glue or even Post-it notes, right? So in order to get started with that, we've broken this process down into a few simple steps, and you could see that on the slide as well. Firstly, you want to think about your brand positioning, right? What does your brand stand for? What makes it unique? What's the value that you offer your customers? Speaking of customers, you also want to think about who your ideal customers are, right? What are their needs? What are their preferences? What are their behaviors? And then with that in mind, you can brainstorm a bunch of different brand names that appeals to your potential audience, and then start screening them for practicality, right? What are some names that are too hard to spell, hard to remember, or even hard to pronounce, right? And most importantly, you want to check existing registrations so that the name that you're thinking of isn't trademarked or used by another company or is used in a lot of other contexts, right? I'm a huge skier. I love to ski. And when I was actually out skiing most recently, I ran into a bunch of guys at the lift that were wearing all the same brand of ski clothing called White Space. And so I was like, what is this brand? I jumped on the lift, I pulled out my phone, but there was so much white noise around the term White Space that I couldn't find the brand at all. And it wasn't until I got home that I realized that was Shaun White's brand. And the guy with the red hair poking out from under his helmet, that was the GOAT himself. And if he had a better brand name for his clothes, I would have asked for a selfie. But of course, the last is testing it out. Bounce your idea off of your friends, your colleagues, see if it resonates, gauge their reaction, and if it has a positive association.
All right, well, let's stay on the topic of organic discoverability because our audience here on the Clicks to Riches show, they love tips. So how about a tip for that people have used to tweak the titles or the images that have resulted in increased views and or sales?
Yeah, so there's a number of different ways that you can tweak your titles or you can tweak your images to help boost your sales, and some of which Leah mentioned before and are worth repeating. First off, you want to make sure that you have multiple images, multiple angles of your product. Now, folks are really used to, going to the store and picking up a product and looking at it and turning it around. Hard to do on the internet. So what we want to do is make sure that you can see it from multiple angles and that you have really clear photos that show the true colors of your product as well. Because when you have really great photos, it improves the kind of the appeal of your items. It improves the perceived value of your items too, and it'll also help you reduce returns. Because even myself, when I order clothes from Amazon, sometimes the shade of red isn't quite the same and doesn't work with the shoes that I had in mind as well. And then lastly, you want to front load your keywords in your title, not make it too wordy, but that'll help you out in terms of discoverability and your search rankings too.
Okay, well, I want to switch gears a little bit because I want to cover as many topics as possible. So the upcoming holiday season, it's right around the corner. It's going to be here before you know it. But timing is everything. So what's your recommendation for, how far in advance should someone start preparing for the holiday season on Amazon? And what's your, getting ready checklist? What does that look like?
Yeah, so preparing for peak season is a constant effort. You should really be starting this as early as possible because peak season isn't just about increased orders. It's a really intense trading period that's going to put pressure on all aspects of your business. And with that being said, I would say at a minimum, 3 to 6 months out is when you should start crafting a holistic peak season strategy, starting with, what does your sales data look like, right? Dive into your trends, dive into your website traffic to make sure that you have the data you need to make really compelling offers. And then you want to think about your advertising strategy, right? You want to launch campaigns on the channels that you know are effective, focusing on high intent searches. You want to plan your budget early and create memorable ads so that you don't have to rely so much on discounts. And then lastly, customer engagement. If you have an email list, think about segmenting that and then maybe sending exclusive offers to your best customers, or even sending out gift guides in advance of the peak season to help build anticipation. But another really good thing to keep in mind about seasonality is, a lot of different things can contribute to what your peak season is. Your peak season might be different based on the product. It might be different based on where you are in your business or where you're selling your product. If you're doing print on demand flip-flops or winter hats, they'll be different. Christmas ornaments versus, different tumblers to keep your pumpkin spice lattes. Your peak season is going to start differently. And if you're selling beach towels, you might want to think about focusing in the winter in the Northern Hemisphere, in the summer in the Southern Hemisphere. So Amazon Brazil or Amazon South Africa might have a lot of customers ready to get your printed beach towels.
Oh, okay. How about an example? Can you give us an example of someone that really found success during the holiday season? I think that'd be helpful to the audience.
Martin, you mentioned Halloween a little bit earlier, and one of the favorite sellers that I've worked with so far is this small company, well, not so small anymore, called Morph Suits. Now, they started out in the UK making these really cool sort of latex costumes for things like fancy dress parties and stag do's and hen do's, which they call, bachelor and bachelorette parties out there. But as their business started growing and they expanded into the United States, very quickly they realized that now their peak season isn't summer anymore, but it's Halloween. And they really leaned into that demand. And now they're doing costumes under license for companies like Disney.
No way. Well, you know what? I think I actually bought my Halloween costume last year on Amazon. If anyone's interested in seeing us in our costumes, we actually did an episode, our Halloween episode last year. You can see that in the live section of our YouTube page. If anyone is interested, and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. But I've got one more question for you on the holiday season before we move on. Can you share like another tip, like a tweak or something that somebody like an adjustment that somebody made that actually paid off for them during the holiday season?
Yeah, so like I mentioned before, you really want to be on top of your strategy well in advance of the peak season. The last minute is definitely the last place you want to be making any big changes. But that being said, you may want to think about temporarily boosting your ad spend on the highest margin items during the peak traffic hours, rather than trying to spread it all out evenly. This way, you're focusing your traffic on the items where you can afford the deepest discounts.
Ooh, I like that. All right, so let's switch gears again, because a lot of our audience that's watching today, well, they're finding their success and searching out their path on Etsy. So let's talk about making that big leap from Etsy to Amazon. Like, what's that path actually look like? Can an Etsy seller really use their existing playbook on Etsy and find success on Amazon, or is it like a whole new ballgame?
Well, any seller will tell you, e-commerce can be a tough business. So any experience that you have and can bring into Amazon store is useful. But what's important to know is that, these programs and products we develop for small businesses at every stage in their journey. So whether you've been selling for years or if you're just starting out, the integration that Amazon has built with Printify means you can set up a seller account in minutes and then go and use Printify's product creator to publish it directly to Amazon store and have access to millions of customers right on day one.
Ooh, I like it. All right. Well, we're gonna take some questions from our audience in just a second, but I'm gonna mine you for a few more tips, Addie, before we transition into the Q&A portion. And remember to put your questions into the chat already. Our moderator Talish will capture those and we'll address those here in a little bit. But I'm gonna give you like 30, 45 seconds, something like that, to provide some last minute tips for our audience, and I'll give you a little bit extra time if you can give us an example. So what do you got for us, Addie?
Yeah, so Amazon is always investing in new ways to try and connect small businesses to customers. And as part of this commitment, we've introduced a small business badge that will go under your listing to help shoppers identify that they're shopping from a small business. And you can see what that looks like here on the screen. And so if you're based in the US, if you have a pro selling account and you want to sign up for brand registry, this is another great reason to do that, because you can go right into the certifications tab in your B2B menu and get started right away. And we've seen folks that have that small business badge, gain a lot of attention and sales from folks who are interested in shopping from small businesses. And also, that being said, we also have a support small storefront called amazon.com/support-small that provides an experience where customers can really get to know a brand and see the people kind of behind the brand. And so if you're thinking about doing brand registry and you're also thinking about getting certified as a diverse business, definitely go check that out and see if that's something that you'd want to get involved with.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that. Now, Addie, are you going to be able to stick around for the Q&A portion, or do you have to take off?
Fortunately, I got to take off, but thank you so much for having me on the show. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the success of all your print-on-demand sellers in Amazon store.
Wonderful. Well, Addie, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Folks, I hope you're paying attention, because you just received a masterclass from Amazon itself. Addie, we can't thank you enough for sharing your time with us, but we understand you have to go. So thank you so much, folks. So thank you so much, Addie. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Leah. Talk to you guys next time.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Well, folks, we've got a little bit of time to answer a few of your questions here today. So Leah, what do you have for us today?
We have a couple of good questions here. The first question is from Siren Industries, asking, is there a roadmap on global fulfillment expansion? How to get more products quicker to customers on an international level?
Ooh, that's a very good question, because, well, first of all, Printify Choice is going to be a great option for this. We're offering some international products that can be routed internationally. We're starting with some of the most popular, like the t-shirts and things like that, expanding that over time. But that's something you can certainly take advantage of. Of course, we have a global network of print providers you can take advantage of. I know I've worked with plenty of merchants, plenty of top-selling merchants that accomplish this in several different ways. We've got automated order routing in which you can accomplish this. Some of the merchants actually geocode their website, so depending on the customer's IP address, they'll see a different version of their store. There's all kinds of different ways to achieve that. But just know, with an international fulfillment network like Printify, and now that we can leverage the Printful network with Printify Choice and the like, really there's no customer on planet Earth that's beyond your reach. Well, unless they live in North Korea or something like that. Unfortunately, we can't ship there at the moment, but who knows what the future will hold. But good question. What else do we have?
Another question from Scripture and Coffee. Now, I think this might have been a question for Addie, but we'll take a shot at it. Where is that Product Opportunity Explorer located?
Oh, I'll tell you exactly where you can find that. Now, we put some links to the Amazon Seller University. Now, that's going to be your go-to spot to find all things Amazon, all that learning materials and things like that. That's what's so great about Amazon, is because they provide all of this stuff for you to be successful, because it's in their interest for you to be successful. And it's in our interest that you are successful as well. That's why we put on this show. That's why we put out all of Leah's YouTube videos, and we're doing Amplified and things like that, because this is a partnership and we're nothing without you. So hopefully you can discover all that stuff. Stick with us here on the Clicks to Riches show. Join us for Amplified. You'll find everything you need to be successful. Good question, though.
With all the amazing information that Addie just shared within the span of 15 minutes, I can't imagine how in-depth their actual Amazon Sellers University courses. So definitely go check those out.
Yeah, check it out. And you can find that link in the video description below.
Next question is from Chica and Joe. If I'm already selling on Etsy, do I have to disconnect from Etsy to Amazon instead? Or should I create a second Printify account?
Ooh, another good question. Well, you can connect up to 5 stores to a single Printify account, but if you're taking advantage of Printify Premium, you can connect up to 10. So no reason to choose between Amazon or Etsy. You can certainly do both. One thing you might want to try, if you've created some products on Etsy and you want to list those on your Amazon store, make sure you have your Amazon store connected, and you can do the copy. You can use the copy tool that we have available in Printify to recreate those products and then allow them to appear in the Amazon version of your store that's connected to a single account. And if you're paying for Printify Premium, well, that's going to cover all of those stores that are connected to a single account. We make it super easy. I'm going to challenge our moderator, Talish, to find the Help Center article about the copy tool and put that into the chat so you can take advantage of it. So clock's ticking, Talish. Let's see if you can do it. Thanks, buddy.
All right, in the meantime, we'll go to the next question. Kelly Kraft asks, when do you know what the peak times are for your customers?
Ooh, okay. Well, here, and I'm going to glean this from what I learned from Addie today, is taking advantage of those tools that Amazon makes available to you. Now, again, they want to make sure you have access to all the information necessary to be successful. This sort of the traffic analyzing tool is available so you can see when people are online shopping. So take advantage of that and make sure you incorporate that into your success plan.
Okay, another question. Freestyle Harry 1980 asks, when will Printify allow us to sell on other Amazon marketplaces like Amazon Germany or UK?
Oh, that's a very good question. Now, who was that? That was Freestyle Harry. Good question, Freestyle Harry. Love your name too, by the way. Yeah, hopefully soon. Like, I'm not sure if I can give you a satisfying answer because I can't give you a date. Like, yeah, November 31st. Yeah, it's not gonna. I'm unable to do that, but it's something that I would love to see in the very, very near future. Keep yourself peeled to the news from Printify. Keep watching the Clicks to Riches show because I'll guarantee you when that becomes available, you'll hear it here on the Clicks to Riches show. But good question.
Are there 31 days in November?
Well,
I think
on a leap year there is.
Okay. Next question from Wizard Blizzard UK. This is a good question. What exactly are the similarities between Etsy and Amazon that make the transition from one marketplace to the other feasible?
Okay, well, you said it right there, Leah. It's the word marketplace. Now, if you're familiar with the process, the mechanisms of a marketplace, like if it's Etsy or if it's eBay or the like, well, there's going to be a lot of similarities, meaning that there's going to be, the helpful resources to take advantage of. The customer flow is going to be relatively the same. Product publishing, and there's going to be a little bit of differences that Leah, you covered earlier, where in terms of listings and storefronts and things like that. But there's going to be a lot of intuitive knowledge that you're going to take from one marketplace to the other, and make those little adjustments in between. And I guarantee you're going to be able to get up and running with those skills that you've already gleaned on Etsy on some of these other marketplaces like Amazon.
I would say the general process, like you said, from product creation, getting to know your customers, all the way up through publishing and pushing them onto your marketplace is more or less the same. What you are going to want to learn how to tweak are those keywords. You're going to have slightly different tools. A shopper on Amazon might search for your product. They might use different words than an Etsy buyer might search for. So you have to tweak some of those keywords in your title. The pictures might have to be a little bit different, but the process more or less will be very similar. And the way you interact with your customers also, you have this brand voice that you use should also be similar. So I would say minor changes, just got to learn some new tools.
Sure, yeah. Keyword strategy is going to be the same. Discoverability strategy is going to be relatively the same. Mock-up image strategy, because you have to consider how search results are aggregated and collected by those search algorithms, because you're going to be shown on a page with all your other competition, and your mock-up image is going to have to stand out, because that's what makes people click on those listings. Do they like what they see? And is that going to allow them to investigate further? Good question, though. I think we have time for one more question.
Okay, one more question from Charlene. I have applied for Amazon merch. I don't know how long it takes. Are there other segments of Amazon for the USA that I need to apply for? Does anyone know how long it takes to hear back from Amazon?
Oh, I'll tell you what. Yeah, reach out to Amazon for the 411 on this question. But I'm going to advise you to check out the previous episode of the Clicks to Riches show that we covered with our in-house Amazon expert. That we covered all the basics about getting started, answering questions like these. So that question will be answered there, along with everything else you need to get up and running, and a little bit of best practices that you'll need to understand and apply right from the beginning. But good question. But I'm gonna ask you to check out that other episode. You can find the link in the description. All right. Well, thank you very much to everyone who asked a question today. Apologies if we didn't get a chance to get to your question, but you can always join me at my live Q&As and we can keep this conversation going. But folks, I would be doing you no favors if I didn't allow you to enter in our third and final coupon code for the day. So what I'm gonna ask you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is pull out your Printify accounts once more. Click on the left-hand side where it says Wallet, go down to Reward Center, find that coupon code entry spot, and prepare to enter our third and final coupon code for $15 of instant Printify credit placed into your account. And I think we had a winner, didn't we?
We had a winner from the last round, and it was Charlene, who just asked that last question. So congratulations, Charlene.
Congratulations, Charlene. Well, you can apply that to as the first building block of your future Amazon empire. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our third and final coupon code is Amped for Amplified. And if you're not excited about Amplified yet, well, gosh darn it, you should be, because it's coming up quick. On the 25th of this month, we're going to be going live with the biggest names and in the world of print on demand. It's all going to be free. You're invited, and the party's already started on the Sellers Club. So if you haven't already, check that out for all the latest news on Amplified. Sign up today, and I'll see you there on the 25th.
I think if you join now, you can already win some giveaways and prizes.
I think so, because we do like daily giveaways just to keep the hype rolling. So yeah, do yourself a favor and check it out. All right, folks. Well, we've thrown a lot of information at you today. So what do you do with that? Well, that's what our action plan is all about, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about that. Because first of all, take advantage of those materials that are provided by Amazon. You can find those as links in our description, because again, they want you to have access to all the information you need to be successful. So take advantage of it, learn from Amazon itself, and apply those best practices.
And of course, follow some of those best practices that I shared earlier, that Addie shared, and do not try to be sneaky, because you're gonna get caught. Amazon is probably a little bit smarter, and it's gonna ruin all the hard work that you put in before.
Exactly. It's not a long-term strategy for success. When it comes to these marketplaces, please play by the rules. And also making the transition, speaking of marketplaces, making the transition from marketplaces like Etsy or eBay to Amazon is much more intuitive than you might think. A lot of those skills are going to transfer over. So do yourself a favor, if you haven't already, sign up for Amazon today using the link that we provided in the video description and start your journey today.
And if you've been on the fence about starting or transitioning from Etsy to Amazon, this is your sign to start right now, because holiday season is almost full blown. Get going on Amazon and you will be ready for that peak Q4.
And ladies and gentlemen, you know how we like to share inspirational stories with you here on the Clicks to Riches show, and we've got a good one for you today, because guess what? Today's success story is you, ladies and gentlemen. I would bet dollars to donuts that there's a few of you out there within the sound of my voice that are going to be one of the featured success stories on the Clicks to Riches show in the near future. And that's because we give you all the tools you need to succeed, because after all, this is about you. So all you need to do is start with one idea, follow the process, test it out, rely on Printify, double down on stuff that works. Keep watching the Clicks to Riches show. Check out our YouTube channel, our blog, our videos. Go to Amplified. It's free for everybody. So take advantage of this massive opportunity in print on demand and make sure that you are one of our success stories one day. And I know one of you out there is going to be it. So this is all about you. Pat yourselves on the back, and I can't wait to see you featured as a success story. All right, folks. Well, let me give you one last invite to join me for my live Q&A sessions that I do for free for everybody, anybody, and everybody on the Sellers Club. Join the Sellers Club. Sign up today using code JOINSELLERS2025. Get your first month free. Explore the Sellers Club, where you have access to mentors and courses and all that cool stuff that we just talked about. Amplified is right now live on the Sellers Club as of yesterday. So do yourself a favor, check that out. Join me on Mondays and Wednesdays in my home studio studio and let me be a small part of your success. Let's talk about the things that you want to talk about. All right, folks. Well, we're going to pop in the link to our post-show survey right now. Go ahead and click the link. Fill out the survey. Let us know how we did today. Let us know what you would like to see in the future from the Clicks to Riches show. And 3 of you will be selected at random to win our grand prize of $50 of Printify sales credit and a beautiful, wonderful Clicks to Riches show t-shirt that you can wear this holiday season or even re-gift to your favorite cousin. All right, folks. Well, that's it for the Clicks to Riches show today. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. We're going to take a slight hiatus as we prepare for Amplified, but we hope to see you all there. Make sure you sign up. Again, it's free. Leah and I and our moderator, Talish, we're going to be hosting it, and it's going to be an absolute wonderful adventure. You're not going to want to miss it. So, on behalf of all of us at the Clicks to Riches show, I just want to say thank you for joining us, and join us again soon, and we'll see you at Amplified. Bye, everyone.